folks, Miss Rutherford here. So, capital letters. Have you ever wondered if you're using capital letters correctly? Have you ever wondered if you're missing out capital letters when you should be using them? Is this something you get told about a lot? I know as an English teacher that I tell my students to use capital letters all the time, but if you don't know exactly how to use them, when they need to be used and what the kind of rules are around them, then how are you supposed to do it? Well, I'm going to show you. So if you want to learn all about how to use capital letters correctly, when they should be used, including for proper nouns and I, then keep watching.
Okie dokie, let's get started with our lesson on capital letters and proper nouns. So, as usual, I'll just give you a quick overview of the things that we are going to go through, and I will put them in the description box below at different times so you can choose the exact moment that you want to drop into. So, we're going to start with when capital letters need to be used. I mean, that's generally going to be what we're going to talk about today, but we're going to focus on the specific rules around that. We're going to have a look at common nouns. We're going to have a look at proper nouns and what those two things are and the difference between them. And I'm going to pop in and throw in a few extra cheeky rules that you might not know about for free. You're welcome. Alright, so it's important to note that with capital letters, there are a few rules that go around when they should be used. So it's not just that we throw them in there willy-nilly. There are actually some very specific reasons why they need to be used. So these are the different reasons why we'd use them. We'd use them always at the start of a sentence. Whenever you finish a sentence, next sentence, boom, capital letter, every single time. Really important. We can get a little bit lazy these days, especially when we're texting and autocorrect and things like that, but to be grammatically correct, every single sentence needs a capital letter at the start. We also need a capital letter when we use the word I, the pronoun I, when we're referring to ourselves. Now, I want you to think about capital letters as representing importance, because that does actually relate to a lot of the reasons why we use those. And when you're talking about yourself, you're important, give yourself that value, give yourself a capital letter, give your name capital letters at the start, because you are important. And when you're talking about I, referring to yourself, that is important. It needs a capital letter, always. You need capital letters for proper nouns, which I will go into in a moment. Okay, here's Mary again. Uh-oh, she's confused again. But that's okay, because we're here to help her. So, I'm saying to Mary, a noun is a person, a place, or a thing. And Mary says, well, that's all very well, but what the heck is a proper noun? And what is the difference between a proper noun and a common noun? Well, I am going to help Mary clear up her confusion. So let's go through the difference between a common noun and a proper noun. And as we said before, proper nouns will always need a capital letter at the start, but common nouns don't. So a noun in general is a person, a place, or a thing. And common nouns, if you think about the word common meaning it's everywhere, it's a general thing, a common noun is a general thing, people, or a place. So it's not a specific, it's a general. So these are examples of common nouns. The book, the woman, the country or a country, the month. They're very general. We're not getting specifics there. We don't know what woman exactly. We don't know which exact book. We don't know the country. We don't know the month. These are very general things, and they are just common nouns. They're just items, they're things. So, for example, I could say the bottle or the car or the juice, for example, but without naming a particular type, it's still a common noun. So a proper noun then is a specific person or a place. It's a name. So these are some examples. You could have place names, nationalities and languages, names of people, titles such as Sir or Queen or Lord or Lady or Doctor or Professor, any of those things. We've got days and months, specific ones, Friday, June, for example, and we've got the names of holidays. So all of these are examples of names or something very specific, such as a nationality or a language. And as I said before, the way that we kind of remember they need a capital letter is because they're quite important. We think about that. A name is important. A particular month has a sense of importance. A holiday is an important day or an important time that we celebrate, normally to do with a religious festival, but not always. So we've got our common nouns, which become our proper nouns. So rather than the sort of basic, unknown, generalised things, now we have some very specific things. So the book becomes Great Expectations, and you can see there that both words in the name of that book, the title of that book, are capitalised because the book title is Great Expectations. It's the name of the book. We have got our favourite celebrity Casey Kemp there. And again, both parts of her name are capitalised. It's her name. It's important. We have got Scotland, the country, again, capitalised. It's the name of the country. And again, we have December, capitalised, because it is the name of the month. So really remember that. It's very specific. It's specific things. It's the names that we give to those things that identify proper nouns. Okay, so there are a few extra cheeky little rules that we do have to follow when it comes to capital letters. Now, I've already told you about the proper nouns and also the start of a sentence and when you use the word I when you're talking about yourself, but there are a few extras as well. So it's important to remember that it is not grammatically correct to use capital letters for emphasis because it doesn't fit in with any of those other rules that we just went through. So an example of this, you may be tempted to write bang all in capital letters to, I don't know, try and show that it's really loud or really sudden or really big explosion. But unfortunately, that's actually not correct, grammatically speaking, which is why we're here. In fact, the correct way to do it, if it was in a sentence by itself, would be to give it a capital letter, or the rest of the letters in lowercase, followed by an exclamation mark. And actually, there are other ways of giving it that emphasis. The exclamation mark does that. Putting it in a sentence by itself can be a very effective way to do that. And even putting it in a paragraph by itself can be even more effective. But as long as we remember that we don't put it all in capital letters. So we got that correct. Okay, so another time in which you would use capital letters is for the first word of a salutation. Now you may be wondering, what on earth is a salutation? Well, don't worry, I'm here to help. So a salutation is a greeting or a way of saying goodbye as well, and often we would use these in a letter. So you can see here the start of a letter, the greeting of the letter, the salutation of the letter. Dear Mr. Brown, for example, we have got the capital letter for dear because it's the first word of the greeting, the salutation, and we also have Mr. with a capital letter because that is the title, and then we have Brown with a capital letter because that is the name. So all those three letters at the start of a letter would need a capital letter. You also use them in things like emails as well. And when we finish our letter, again, the salutation is being used here to say goodbye. So you might write yours sincerely. And you can notice there that the yours is capitalised, but the sincerely is not, because we don't need both of them to be capitalised. We only need the first word of the salutation to be capitalised. In this case, it's yours. And there I have signed it off as Miss C. Rutherford. Again, the Miss is my title, so that is why it has a capital letter there. We've got C, which is the first letter of my first name, and then we've got Rutherford there as well with the capital letter. So you can see there that the salutations both start with a capital letter for the first word, and this is why we do it in this particular way when we're doing letter writing or we are writing an email. So any type of salutation, no matter what it is, will always need that capital letter for the first word. Now, I've put together for you a little page here with examples of all the different reasons that I could think of to use capital letters. So this is a bit of a handy summary of all those different reasons. So here we go. So capital letters should always be used at the start of a sentence, as I said. So an example of this is once upon a time. We then have capital letters used for the pronoun I when referring to yourself. So here's an example. Now and then I like to drink tea. And you see the I is capitalised there. We also need it for names and titles, as we discussed, e.g. Dr. Singh examined Mr. Smith's blood sample under her microscope. For the names of celebrations, days and months, so that includes things like holidays. So I have put here Christmas is on Wednesday, the 25th of December. So we've got the holiday or the celebration with Christmas, the name of the celebration. We have got the name of the day of the week, which is Wednesday, and we have the name of the month, which is December. And then we have here for place names. So, for example, we've got St. Trinian's School is located in Cambridge, England. Then we have to name nationalities and languages. So, for example, Spanish is spoken in many countries such as Spain, Mexico, Colombia and Chile. So, the name of the language, Spanish, would be capitalised. And then finally we have it for the names of titles of books, films, art, games, anything else you can think of, the title of something. So a piece of art or a book or a game that you like to play, for example. So we'd have here, my favourite book is The Great Gatsby. So that's a little summary of all the reasons why you need to use capital letters. So if you follow these rules, you should be on to a winner. Thank you for watching this video. I hope it's been helpful for you and you feel more confident about how and when to use capital letters in your writing now. What would you like to learn about next? Is there anything in particular that you want more grammar help with? Just comment below anything that you'd like to learn more about and I'll try to make a video on it for you.